Ladies and gentlemen, Gary Moore.
Thank you. It's very nice to have you with us. Don't worry, no, I wouldn't do that to you. This, as you all know, is a cornet, which is nothing startling, except the backstage we have with it a cornet player, without which it would be useless. A rather unusual cornet player, for many reasons, which you'll have to wait and find out about until after we've greeted our panel here on To Tell the Truth.
Bill Cullen. Peggy Cass. Nipsey Russell. And Anita Gillette.
Peggy made the most Peggy remark to me when she came out. What did you say to me?
I used to play the bugle. I did.
I believe it, you know. Wouldn't you believe that Peggy in school, other girls are playing the cello, and there you are with a bugle?
The Girl Scout Drum and Bugle Corps. I played taps and World War II broke out all over again.
It's really more ladylike to play a bugle than a cello.
When you get like
Yeah, that's right. It's a little embarrassing, isn't it? Yeah. Well, what kind of a job would you think the fella could have where he could play the cornet while on the job, other than a professional musician?
The Boogie Woogie Bugle Boy of Company B?
No, that's not. We could be here all day guessing. Let us find out. Cornet players, step forward.
Number one, what is your name, please?
My name is Jack Kaufman.
Number two.
My name is Jack Kaufman.
Number three.
My name is Jack Kaufman.
And as usual, our job is to find out which one is the real Jack Kaufman, which two are the fibbers, and this is the way the story goes. I, Jack Kaufman, am a taxi cab driver. When the traffic gets heavy and the mood is light, I serenade my passengers with spirited renditions of their favorite songs. Now, bear in mind, I do not sing these songs. I blast them out on a cornet. Not all my riders receive this gratuitous concert, only those in a receptive mood. Although, frankly, I don't play very well, it doesn't seem to bother my musically inclined fares. In fact, they're usually extra generous tippers. Admittedly, there are times when my trumpeting goes unappreciated. On one occasion, I parked near the city zoo. Nobody was around, so I decided to blow my own horn. And lo and behold, a police car pulled up and ordered me to stop. They claimed I was disturbing the elephants. Signed, Jack Kaufman. And while we think about this problem, we'll pause and let the sponsor get things off his mind, and we'll be right back. Now, if you'll recall, we have over here three gentlemen all claiming to be Jack Kaufman, a cornet-playing taxi driver. And, well, why don't I start with Peggy Cass? You'd love this kind of thing, wouldn't you, Peggy?
Yeah, really, just love it. Now, it says when the traffic gets heavy and the mood is light, you play your cornet. But doesn't the mood sometimes get heavy, number one, when you blast off on your cornet?
sometimes, yeah.
Number two, at what time of the day do you start the festivities?
Well, it depends. Usually I drive at night and begin around the witching hour.
You don't begin driving till 12 o'clock at night?
I begin at 12 at night.
Oh, well, number three, nobody minds if they're out by 12 o'clock at night. They're probably feeling all right anyway. They can take that kind of noise. Is that true?
Are you starting number three?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, number one, has anybody ever said, listen, drive up to the police station, or else, like, drive up to Bellevue, I wanted to have you have a serious talk with somebody inside? I mean, if customers ever really, number one, wanted to have you subject to disapproval by the powers that be?
Yeah.
They've written letters about you?
No, but they've tried to, they put in complaints to the cab board.
Oh, now, number three, your hat isn't exactly like any other cab driver's hat I've ever seen. It looks more like a shower cap. Did you have that hat made specially for you?
No, it's the top of that yellow cab hat over there.
Yeah, I know, but why did you take off the bottom?
Well, I don't know. It just, felt like a thing to do.
Be Blight's spirit.
Golly, we're learning a lot.
Wow.
Hey, Nips.
Number two, where's the Hack License Bureau?
Well, I drive in Houston, Texas. I don't...
Oh, you drive in Houston, Texas?
Yeah.
It's a fine time to tell me. Number 3, do you have a noise abatement program in Houston?
I drive in Denver.
You drive in Denver. Number 1, what country do you drive? Who's your favorite trumpeter, number 1?
Miles.
Miles Davis?
Yeah.
What is distinctive about Miles playing that is so different from other trumpet players?
It's corny to say soul, but it's
Does he
just
play
nothing.
very much in high register?
No.
Uh-huh. Number 2, what is the embouchure?
Lip.
The
Lip.
whole lip?
Yeah.
Number 3?
It's part of the lip you play with. Yeah. it's a
Uh-huh.
lip.
All right, number 1, what's the name of the fleet, the cab fleet that you drive for?
Yellow. I don't drive. I drive the yellow cab.
You're a yellow cab driver.
Right.
You got a lot of heart.
I run
you
a
play
lot.
trumpet at night. You're not really yellow.
I run a lot.
All right, no.
Thank you, Nipsey. Let's go to Anita Gillette.
Number 1, what is the name of the company of your yellow cab company?
Yellow cab company.
The yellow cab
yes.
company. There's no other little name on the side of the door?
No,
All
just 60
right.
cents.
Number 2, has anybody ever gotten hostile when you started blowing out on this bugle?
Oh, yes.
I mean, cornet.
Oh, I had somebody try to jump out of the cab while it was still moving.
Really? Number 3, has that ever happened to you?
Have they jumped out of the cab when I was moving? No.
No, I meant, has anybody ever gotten
Yeah.
hostile?
Yeah, I played a funeral march for somebody once, and they called in on me.
Number 1, what is your favorite song
You mean well?
to play? I mean, that you feel you really do good, you know?
In the cab?
Yes.
Sugar Blues.
Sugar Blues.
Yeah.
Number 2, what is your favorite song?
I like to play When the Red Robins Come Bobbing Along.
You don't mean that.
No, number 3, what made you start just playing this thing? Did you figure you'd just get more fares, or is it really something you really dig doing?
Well, you get a lot of dead time, and it's something nice to do when you've got time to do it with.
You sometimes get the feeling that this whole thing isn't happening.
Yeah.
Let's go down to Bill Cullen.
We got,
Yes, Bill.
we got from number 1, everyone else told us where they drove. Where do you drive?
San Diego.
And number 1, what is your purpose? Why do you, in other words, why do you take your cornet to work with you? I mean, you must be able to spend your time in another way. You said you didn't play well.
Well, I enjoy playing.
Uh-huh.
And my wife doesn't enjoy me practicing. So I practice while I play in
You
my
figure
cab.
you got a captive audience in the back of the cab. Number 3, has this, as far as you can determine, affected your tips, made them larger or smaller or what? Number 3.
They're a
your
little,
tips.
little larger.
You think people will give you more if you play well?
Yeah, I don't really do it for the tips, though.
Number 2, do you find that, let's use the word, drunks are more receptive to your form of entertainment than busy businessmen?
Yeah, I do. I find them the most receptive. As a matter of fact, I got my largest tip from a drunk.
And there goes our little musical bell, which cuts off all the questioning and allows us to mark our ballots. And we got to decide whether we think it's number 1, or number 2, or number 3. And you know that we pay $50 for each wrong vote. We pay $500 if the whole thing goes gurgling down the drain. And with everybody's ballot marked, Peggy starts.
Well, I would never have voted for him, except that he comes from San Diego. San Diego has a terrific zoo where the elephants are certainly more important than the people. Cabs are very expensive in San Diego. I took one once. It was $9. I almost fainted. And sailors live in San Diego, and they love cornet music at 4 o'clock in the morning. So I voted for number 1.
Sound thinking all down the line. We got a 1 showing. Nipsey.
I arrived at my vote for number 1 a little less logically. Miles Davis's virtuosity is especially effective in the middle range, and trumpet players know that, so I just thought maybe it might be number 1.
Pair of 1s. And no, Anita says it's not.
Well,
not
you
that.
see, I thought he was so obvious that I thought he was there to fool me, you know. And number 2, I can't see his lip. Number 3, looks like he could have a nice embouchure, so I put on number 3.
All right, a pair of 1s and a 3. Bill Cullen, you're pensive.
Well, you look at those 3 fellas there,
All right.
and you'll say, which one of these fellas would be crazy enough to carry a cornet and play it in a cab at you? And I don't know about you, but I come up with number 3.
Before you said that, you should have also looked at those 3 fellas and figured which one is most likely to give you a fat lip after the show is over.
Glasses, you know.
Yeah, all right. We have made our votes here, and so will the real Jack Kaufman. Please stand up. Oh, there you go.
right.
Wow. There you go. Thank you, Jack. Let's find out about your imposters, see who they are. Number one, sir, what is your real name? What do you do?
My name is Dennis Zacher. I'm a fashion photographer in New York.
Hey there, nice to have you. Number two, you win some, you lose some. What are you gonna? What is your real name? What do you do?
My name is Brent Mintz. I photograph dogs, ducks, and squirrels.
Just dolls, ducks, and squirrels. That's all, huh? Okay, that's your thing. That's what you do. Now, we're going to hear from Jack Kaufman. We're going to hear a solo. Now, imagine, friends, that it's a lovely moonlight night, and you've hired a cab, and you have your lady friend in the back seat, and things are going along nicely. And Jack pulls over to the side of the road, and Jack goes for us like this. Jack.
It can't be romantic or anything like that. How about, let me see.
Jack, what town you say you're playing? In Denver.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'll remember to walk when I get. And thank you, Jack, very much. And thank you, gentlemen. Thanks, guys. Oh, forget you. He almost forgot his yellow cab yarmulke that he had there. Panel, just for I shouldn't call this trivia. This is probably something that you know. In the 4-H clubs, what do the 4-H's stand for?
Heart, health, hand, and head. Head, heart, health, and hand.
Who health, heart,
Head, heart, health, and hand.
Oh, hee-haw. And we're going to find out. Almost everybody has heard of the 4-H clubs, but most people think of them as being young people who, raise stock or who stitch patchwork quilts or make strawberry preserves. But 4-H clubs today are taking, they're taking new directions. They're found not only in rural communities, but in the cities as well. And we'll be back to find out about that in just a minute. Now let's greet the girls from the 4-H clubs.
Number one, what is your name, please?
My name is Linda Miller.
Number two.
My name is Linda Miller.
Number three.
My name is Linda Miller.
All right, and let's listen while I read you the story of Linda Miller. She says, I, Linda Miller, am a member of a nationwide service organization known as the 4-H Clubs of America. During my 7-year career with 4-H, I have been involved with a whole series of new 4-H clubs. I've been elected county president and am now vice president of my state organization. Since I am part Indian myself, I have initiated a number of projects to make our Native Americans proud of their heritage. I have received a national award for my leadership in 4-H from President Richard M. Nixon. Today, 4-H is not just for farm youngsters, but also for those who live in towns, suburbs, and central city areas. The principles of 4-H are adaptable to all young people, whoever they are, wherever they live. Signed, Linda Miller. And Anita Gillette, why don't you initiate the question?
Thank you. What 3 lovely young ladies they
Aren't
are.
they pretty?
Number 1, from which Indian tribe is your heritage?
Flathead Indians.
The Flathead Indians. Number 2, what kind of projects do you mean when you say you are involved in projects that make us Americans proud of their heritage? What kind of projects, for instance?
Well, these projects, I spoke to groups about our American heritage, and that was my main project. And I also organized an Indian 4-H club in my county.
I see. Number 3, is that the kind of project you were involved with?
Yes, I was involved with the Indian project also, in the nutrition division.
In the nutrition division? What does that mean?
I worked with the Chippewas.
Yes.
And they have a problem with malnutrition.
I see.
And that takes us down to Bill Cullen, please.
And number 1, Gary asked what the 4-H's stand for, and I don't know whether we did get them right, but what are the 4-H's in the 4-H club?
Head, heart, hand, and health.
You were right, sweetheart.
Did I say that?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, number 2, I was always a big city youngster, and I came to another big city, and I never had an opportunity to be in the 4-H club. Now, you mentioned that you are moving them into suburban and urban areas. How do you do that? I mean, how do big city kids participate in the 4-H activities?
Well, 4-H is not all of agriculture like livestock. We have projects such as clothing or cooking, but let's see, some of the projects more relevant to city kids would be like just group activities such as skating or something like that.
Number 3, is there a 4-H club or a branch of the club in New York City, for instance?
Yes, there is.
And from Bill Cullen, we go to Peggy Cass.
Number 3, how many members does the 4-H club in New York City have? Do you have any idea? Because there's not very much farming to be done here.
No, I believe it has about 800 members.
And number 2, now those 800 members, what do they do besides skate?
Oh, well, no, they don't all. So 4-H can just be anything, any group that you want to make out of it. Like if you want to, let's see.
I dig. I mean, I understand. I really do. Now, number 1, they said they were in for the Indian forage thing. What is that?
Indian what?
But I thought she said forage. Sounds like you're going through the woods looking for nuts. You do that in the city.
I gotta say, yes, you do that in Central Park.
No, the only involvement that I had with the Indians was that I established workshops on Browning Reservation in Montana and clothing workshops, and out of that the kids themselves decided that they wanted to form a 4-H club.
Oh, it was 4-H. I thought it was forage.
No, see, it's 4-H club.
You mean all this time just now you mean for the last 10 minutes?
I thought of people running through the woods looking for food. And I couldn't understand how it would work
For
in
10
New York.
minutes you haven't understood the whole show.
Shut up.
Huh?
I've had enough of you.
All right, then with the buzzer, let's go.
I didn't like the bugle either.
That's the most marvelous thing that's ever happened. All right, Nipsey, what do you want to know?
I don't know what I'm doing here. Number 2, who's the county agent in your county?
The county extension agent is Mr. Kirkbride.
Number 1, you spoke in the affidavit about your American heritage. I know Americans who have Indian heritage. What American heritage does an Indian have?
He's the first American.
I see. Number 3, what branch of the government certifies the purity and the grading of foods, beef, products of that kind?
Food and Drug Administration.
Food and Drug Administration. Number 1, who is the veterinarian in your county?
His name is Langbell, Mr. Langbell.
Do you own any...
I'm sorry, that little bell knocks us off. We must now mark our ballots and decide whether we think it's number 1, or number 2, or number 3. I think everybody's got a number down on their little card, and if so, we'll start with, you haven't decided, Nipsey. You've got it.
Decided, but I've written a number.
All right.
He's written a number.
Anita, start.
Well, I at first I thought it was number 1, you know, because she looks like she's 4-H, but after I started talking, she seems like an actress to me. So I think it's number 2.
Okay, we got a 2, Sean. We go down to Bill Cullen.
Yeah, they all know more about 4-H than I do. But number 2 seems so natural in everything she said. I mean, she was speaking naturally. She didn't seem to be thinking, just spoke naturally. And for that reason, I, too, voted for number 2.
Peggy, were you able to arrive at any decision for any reason whatsoever?
Well, if we were all starving to death and I had to go forage, I'd want to forage with 2. So I'm over.
All right, so far we've got... everybody's going that way. Nips, are you making it unanimous?
No, if I had a wigwam or a farmhouse, either one of these maidens would fit well. But I took number 3, because she said the least, and that's a commendable attribute in anyone.
Especially in England.
All right, the votes are all in. Will the real Linda Miller please stand up? Almost a clean sweep. Thank you, Linda. Let's find out about your friends. Number one, you had me taken in with Mr. Linebeck and all those folks. What is your real name? What do you do?
My name is Carlene Osorio, and I'm a photographer at the Auto Pub here in New York.
Oh, good. And number three, please tell us about yourself.
My name is Laura Kane, and I'm a secretary at the European Health Clubs in New York City.
Good place. Linda, two things we'd like to establish. Where are you really from, and what is your Indian background?
I am from Morris, Oklahoma, which is a small town in Okmulgee County, 50 miles south of Tulsa. And I am an 8th Indian, part Creek and part Cherokee.
So, part Creek and part... You're a Creekachee, in effect, then. Thank you very much, Linda. You're very cute, and so are the rest of you. Thanks an awful lot for being with us. I have just been given the distressing news that we have 30 seconds, for heaven's sake, and which is marvelous on the occasions when you have something to talk about for 30 seconds. But inasmuch as I really have...
10 seconds. 3, 2...
Bye.
Our central characters today will receive the Samsonite Classic Attaché case, featuring a color-coordinated portfolio and exterior, light, strong magnesium frames, and stuff and stain-resistant cover from Samsonite. Promotional consideration provided by Best Western Motels, the nation's largest chain of 1,200 fine owner-operated motels in 900 cities from coast to coast. Speaking for To Tell the Truth. A Mark Goodson, Bill Trotman production.